Hi Flosstube, welcome to my channel. I'm Kim Chamberlain, the Canal Town Stitcher, and I am coming to you today on Saturday, August 12th with an update video for you all. So I just posted a new Start Stitch With Me. I posted a kit parade and I posted my whip parade. So I can link all of those links in the description box below if you're interested in going back and seeing any of those videos. Today I just have a few minutes. It's probably not going to take super long because I've been working, but I have been pretty much stuck on some of the same projects, so we'll get to see probably about 5 projects that I've worked on since my whip parade. And then I have some purchases that I'd like to show you, and we'll go from there. So I hope everybody's had a very nice week. Mine was very productive. This week we signed Ethan up for college, so he is ready to go. We have Grace going to band. Ryan finished up his driving school, and Grace is at a friend's house. Adam was at a friend's house over this weekend, but just came back home, and TJ is out with his family. They went to a race tonight, so I thought this would be a good opportunity for us to get together and talk about my whips. The weather here has been pretty good. We had a thunderstorm the other day during my Stitch With Me, so if you watched that, you'll have seen some of the bad weather that came through here. But it wasn't super bad. It wasn't as bad as what they thought it was going to be, so that's good. Overall, we're just kind of chugging away until the first day of school. I start back to work the week after next, so I spent some time in my classroom this week, and I still have a lot more work to do in my classroom, but I'm gonna get there sometime this week. I have to go get a cello for Grace, and so we're gonna have a busy week. We're gonna do some school shopping and get that stuff done, and it's gonna be a week. So I don't know how much stitching I'm gonna get in between now and next weekend, but we'll see. All right, so the first thing I want to show you is my start for the week. I don't have any finishes, not this week anyway. So I started the Emerald City still. Yep. So I started this, which is Emerald City. That's my cover picture for my thing, but Emerald City, the Emerald City or Wizard of Oz Cityscape. It is on Etsy as a Satsuma Street, but I got it from A Crazy for Cross Stitch magazine, and I got that off of my Readly app. So sorry, I just want to plug in my phone because it's about today. So if you have not heard of Readly, I don't get any credit at all for advertising it. But it's an app that you can download on, I think, both Apple and Android devices. It does cost money. It's got a subscription charge of $12.99 a month. But you get access to like a ton of cross stitch magazines. Oh, it's just telling me Grace's battery is running low. And that's where I got this from. So that's where I downloaded the pattern from. So you can go to Etsy and you can buy it, or you can download Readly and you can search for that Cross Stitch Crazy magazine and find it on there as well. So I've been working on this since I did my Start With Me on Thursday afternoon. So I was working on this pretty much all day yesterday. And let's see, let me put something behind this. Here I go again. The other day I had the same problem. All right, we'll use this. So this is where I am on it. There are so many different greens. I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count lamb's wool linen by Witch Holt. So it is coming out so cute. It's been pretty easy, and this I've been working on for about a day, yesterday. And when I'm working on something for a day, like, it's not like I'm working on it for like 6-8 hours. Like, this is in between carpooling and dropping kids off and picking them up. And yesterday, I really didn't sit down to stitch until about 8 o'clock last night. So I would say it was about 2.5, 3 hours of really constant stitching to get that far. All right, now I'm gonna go over my Whip Go project for August that I worked on. It's the most wonderful feast of the year. And this is by Sue Hillis Designs. It's gonna look like this. I've only worked on this for about an hour, and my needle is still in it. I don't even think it was an hour. Looking at this, I think it was more like 20 minutes. Anyways, I had all the way up through this done, and I just started working on this over here. So my plan is to work on this tomorrow morning during coffee time. Get some more of that done. I'm stitching that on a piece of 18 count time by Picture This Plus, and I'm doing it 1/1. Full cross. All right, next up is Flea Market Flowers. I worked on this for about maybe 25 minutes the other day. This is what it looks like. It's by Lori Holt. You can find this on the Fat Quarter Shop website. I'm stitching this with all the calls for DMCs and the called for fabric, which is 25 count barley by Lori Holt. And this is where it is now. So that top flower, I finished the leaves. Oh, I worked on it for a little longer than 25 minutes. And I started in on the petals. I would like to have that whole flower done and be working on the next block down, which is this one. This one's kind of big and massive, so I kind of want to get this one done before I put this away. And these are project bags that I made. Not the best, but I'm learning. I'm getting there. Next up, I worked on Scandinavian Forest quite a bit in the last 2 weeks. Well, week and a half, I should say. I need to go to Good Notes because that's where I keep my PDFs. Where is it? Scrolled right past it, I bet. There it is. This is going to look like that when it's done. It's really cool. So I had a page finish and started working on the third page this week. I'm stitching this on 18 count oatmeal Aida that I bought from Michael's. Okay, sorry about that. There was an issue with the iPad storage, so hopefully that's resolved. Anyway, so back to Scandinavian Forest. I showed it on my phone previously, but I do have a paper copy. I said I was on page 3, and this, I do have a string hanging off of this, and this is where I am at with this. Hang on. Hold it to make it a little easier to see it. So I finished the rest of this tree, all of this, and then this is all a page 3 start. So this is actually a very fun stitch. I love stitching on this, and so I will be picking this up again this week. All right, the last thing that I have worked on and made progress on this week is Away We Ride. This is by Blackbird Designs. I just felt like working on this. This wasn't something that was called. It called to me. I'm stitching this with most of the called for. I could not get the Onyx or the Garden Gate, so I am using 2 Weeks Dye Works colors, Charcoal and Grapevine instead. But other than that, the rest of the colors are called for, and this is where I am on it. So I just worked on the border. I got these 3 parts done and stitched a little bit of that guy in. This I love. I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count Witchelt. It is natural raw linen. And it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love it. All right. So that is it for all of my current whips. We will see what the week brings. I have some things in my mind that I want to work on that I might pull out, but I don't really know. I'm really enjoying working on the Emerald City, so that might be a focus piece for me this week. All right, so I was up in New York, and when I was up in New York, I did a little bit of shopping at Hobby House Needleworks, and I did not have the opportunity to show you the patterns that I purchased or any of the flosses that I purchased. Now, in my Stitch With Me video, you heard me say that I stitch on very simple fabric. I really do. Like, I don't buy a ton of fancy floss, and I don't buy a ton of overdyed fabric. I buy a lot of Witchelt and a lot of Zweigart fabric. Some Picture This Plus, because I can get it from 123 Stitch, Hobby House Needleworks, and Everything Cross Stitch pretty inexpensively. The reason I do that is because I'm trying to stitch and I can't spend like all that money because I just can't afford it. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I have so much respect and so much love for all the people that can stitch and can afford to stitch on that and show that work to everyone out there. And they should be proud of it. Like, I'm not saying that nobody should be showing that or whatever. What I was saying, my point was that I just feel like you shouldn't let that stop you from loving stitching if you can't afford those things. Stitching is stitching. It's beautiful no matter what fabric it's on. And you should never feel bad about buying the simple stuff, is all I was saying by that. Not that I had to defend it again, but like, I didn't want people to think that I was like saying, oh, if you're, stitching on that, you're being frivolous or whatever. It is your stitching, and you should be proud of it no matter what you're stitching on. That's really all I meant by that. All right, so I did buy some fancy flosses, which is what my point is in all this, because sometimes I do. If it's a project that I think that I need the fancy flosses for, I buy them. If it's one that I think you're not going to be able to tell the variegation very well, then I don't. I really buy a lot of DMC and use tons of DMC. I have used silk in the past. For a Hello from Liz Matthews Quaker Snowflakes, I did stitch that in silk, but I felt like that was an affordable one. Something like a Carriage House Samplings that calls for silk, I probably would use DMCs just so that I could have the beautiful cross stitch piece without feeling like I was breaking the bank. But those of you that go out and buy all the silks and all the fancy flossets and all of the beautiful fabric, I love watching your floss tubes because your work is beautiful and it is on beautiful fabric, and it comes out so nice, and I love seeing your progress. So I don't want anybody to feel like I'm like being a Karen, even though I don't like using that term either. I feel bad for all the Karens out there. All right, anyways, all that to say that I bought some patterns while I was at Hobby House Needleworks and some flosses, and I'm going to show them to you now. All right, so last year I stitched a Prairie Schooler witch called Night Flight, and so I purchased Miss Fortune, and I'm going to stitch that. I stitched the other one on 32 count, so I stitched that on Patriots Brew. I'm going to find something similar to stitch this on. This only calls for 3 DMCs, so it's super, super easy to stitch one of these. So I got that. Then I also got Hands-On Design, God Shed His Grace on Thee. I have been wanting this for a long time. I am not sure if I'm going to stitch all the wording in. I probably will. But I love the flags hanging up. And all the flowers. All right, next up is one that I tried to get all year last Valentine's and could not find it anywhere online. So I was flipping through charts and found this one and was like, okay, mine please. Love Notes. This is by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. I saw these all over the place last year and could not get my hands on it. So I'm very happy to have this today. I'm going to try to find 36 count or 40 count fabric for this. I don't know. We'll see. I might end up stitching it on something that I already have. And the last one that I got is Baltimore Salt Box. This is also by With Thy Needle and Thread. And I saw this and immediately loved it and said, mine please. And threw this in with the rest of them. This calls for a piece of 28 count mushroom Lugana, and I think I have that in my stash. So I did buy some of the called for threads for this. So in my handy bag here, I have the threads for With Thy Needle and Thread, Candy Cane Lane, that I've had for a while. I've had the pattern for a while and just never got the threads. So I did buy those. And then I also bought all of the called for threads, all the classic Colorworks, and the Weeks Dye Works, I think, right? Let me see. Dirt Road, Olive. Yes, I did. Dirt Road and Olive. Blue Corn. Let me find them. There's blue corn, eggshell, sticks and twigs, and Chesapeake Bay. Hang on. Maybe I don't have Chesapeake Bay. Maybe they didn't have it. Must be they didn't have it. Anyways, so I did get these for the Baltimore salt box. So here's the fabric, some of the threads for this one. Not all of them, because I'm going to stitch some of them in DMC. So I got that. And then this ribbon, I know I didn't get that. I got the licorice red, right? Just opening this up because I'm not sure if I got the threads for this or not. I don't think I did. Maybe I did. Honestly, I can't remember because it was like 2 weeks ago. It was a crazy time for us. This calls for all DMC. Except for... Yeah, this calls for all DMC. So this won't be a problem. Oh, goodness. I got it for this? No. Okay. So these, the rest of these have to be for Candy Cane Lane. And there's a lot here. And I felt like I did okay because I didn't buy any fabric this day. So here's all the colors plus the 2 greens for Candy Cane Lane. And I really felt like the fancy flosses were what I would want to use for that. So that is why I bought fancy flosses for those projects. I'm not having a good hair day today. So yeah, I have to kit up these projects. I do have the 40 count flax for the Candy Cane Lane, so I have that. I showed that in my kit video. And so I'll be starting that project soon. Halloween is really where I want to focus my energies. So I'll probably start stitching Halloween in the next week or two. And that's it. This video was kind of choppy and weird, but please like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the projects that you saw today and the progress that I've made on them. And I hope that you all have a great stitchy week, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye now.